Appreciate everybody joining me on this special occasion. What's up, Turk is Dorky.
Here we go. There we go.
Peace, King. How you feeling?
Peace, King, man. Listen, man, first of all, man, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Having me on, man. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the love. You know what I'm saying? I hear you banging the older joint in the background.
Yeah, we got to give you your flowers while you're still here, King.
Yes, sir.
Before I start this show off, I want to send a big rest in peace to Ecstasy of Houdini. Yes. Definitely a major influence in my life, and I'm sure yours as well.
Yeah, we lost a great one, man. You know, he did a lot for hip hop, and you know they didn't follow along the lines of everybody else in the game. They took their own role, and they just was major. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
Rest in peace, man. My condolences to his family and, you know, all his loved ones.
No doubt. Let's get into a little history lesson about Teflon. This is episode number 102, special Christmas edition. And I do appreciate you spending this special afternoon with me. I know you're busy, got family to see, but I do appreciate you taking the time out to catch the people up on Teflon the Great. If you could take us back to where you were born and raised.
Well, I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. You know, I grew up in Brownsville. You know, I mean, I think that I probably embody that, and a lot of people probably probably could see that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the way I am, you know, I'm cut from a particular type of cloth. Brooklyn people just got a whole different kind of style with them. And they go everywhere. So, you know what I'm saying? I know, you know, you probably know somebody from Brooklyn if you ain't from Brooklyn, or if you ain't from New York, you know, you probably got a homie that's from Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, we just carry a certain type of swag with us.
Could you take us back to a day in the life of Teflon growing up in Brooklyn as a teenager?
Oh, a day in the life. that could mean so many different things. But, you know, like, basically, I grew up in a rough neighborhood, a rough environment. You know, pretty crime-ridden, not pretty crime-ridden, but kind of very crime-ridden, you know, during the 80s and so forth, going into the 90s. You know, I was in my teenage years, going into my adult years. You know, I had a couple of risks with the law, you know, started out on the block, of course, doing what most people do, that, you know, trying to make a little something extra. Yeah, you know, and I got caught up a couple of times, and, you know, a couple of incidents that I had to deal with, you know, in that manner. Where I grew up at in Brownsville on Saratoga Ave, is also happens to be the area where Smooth the Hustler, Trigger the Gambler is from. But on the block that we hung out on, which was Saratoga and St. Mark's Ave, you had Bill Dance, you had Fizzy Womack, you had Bees, you had P Long, you had the whole team. You understand what I'm saying? That was there, that we all used to hang out with each other. This is before music I'm talking about. You know, we all used to hang out with each other, and we all part of that same pot where, you know, we all trying to do what we got to do. And we all kind of formed just this bond that we protected each other as we would protect ourselves or our family members, you know. So in that sense, we are family. And, you know, we started running the block and you know, it was a wild neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? So you had to kind of be who you said you was.
Right.
So, you know, on that, you know, you'll get people that'll try you, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't, you ain't had to be no sucker. It wasn't about you being a sucker. It was that they just was like, yo, listen, it is what it is out here. You know what I mean? And you had to be who you was. So, with that, that formed that shell, you know what I'm saying? Of protection so that, it's like, yo, you in these areas, it's like you in the jungle. You know what I'm saying? You gotta behave sometime like an animal.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Um, but the beautiful thing uh about with my team is that it was certain principles that we all shared, and it wasn't a taught thing. It wasn't like, yo, son, you gotta be. It was just what it was. Certain shit you knew not to do, certain shit you knew, you know what I'm saying, how to rock with. And it wasn't a spoken thing. That's what made the bond so strong. But nonetheless, I still was making my little moves here and there. I wound up getting caught up on some shit, and I had to go sit down for a little while. And while I was sitting down, uh, Fame and Bill, they always been into, into music. You know what I mean? Um, so when they had decided to put together an album, they put out How About Some Hardcore. So when they put that joint out, I'm up north. I'm watching TV. I didn't even know they put the joint up, right? I'm watching TV. I see the joint. I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, oh shit, yo, those my niggas. I'm like, yo, that's Fame. But I couldn't see who Bill was. Now, mind you, when me and Bill was little, I used to be as tall over him as he is over me now. So the one distinctive character trait that Bill got is them eyes. He got a certain set of eyes that I don't care what, you know what I'm saying? That's him. But he had his hat pulled down so low, and that by now he done grew up. He done grew up a little bit over me, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, who is that dude in the video? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It wasn't until I spoke to one of the other peoples, and they was like, yo, listen, they was like, yo, Bill, I don't know if you watching right now, but I ain't gonna blow you up, the government boy. But you know what I'm saying? He said, and I was like, yo, you gotta be fucking kidding me. He was like, yeah. So I was like, yo, that's crazy. So it was like the same, like it's a certain kindred spirit that we got, you know what I'm saying? And the music, spoke to me in that kindred spirit. You know what I mean? And so I was like, damn, that shit just it's so expresses how I feel and how I think and how, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
that shit really grabbed me. And then when I did get home and I heard the whole project, I was just like blown away, man. From the production to the lyrics to the delivery to the concepts, you know. Um and of course, I had been, I've been putting my pen game down from when I was younger as well. But the streets really pulled me away from that. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't, for a little while, I wasn't really doing that. But when I got locked back up, you know what I'm saying? Like again, I'm sitting down, so I'm like, fuck it, let me start playing with the pen again. You know what I mean? So by the time I come home, I got a little demo or whatever that I'm putting together. That type of shit. Um, Actually, where I used to put the demos together at. Uh, I used to rap over there at my man crib, and he had like the equipment set up. And his neighbor who lived in his building used to also come down and rap, and that was none other than Sean Price, rest in peace. Yeah, man.
Dope.
Price used to be going in on the joints, you know what I'm saying? Just like freestyling and all that shit, just going in there vibing out. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, you know what I'm saying? So, when Fame heard my shit, he said, yo, son, he was like, nigga, you serious, nigga? You been holding back on niggas like that? He was like, yo, son, you know what I'm saying? We gonna go ahead and get some shit cracking, you know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, the first album is already done, but we about to start on the second joint, blah, 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 So, Bill and Lays, it was like, yo, son, let's start getting Tef in the studio, you know what I mean? And get them acclimated into what's going on, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, with that, it started to just, blossom from there, as far as, getting the experience and it was a vibe, that was the thing too during that time. You talking about like '94. You got Big that's just coming out, Juicy, and all of that. You know what I'm saying? You got shit is just rocking from all fronts too. You had uh, 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 Scarface out there in Texas. You know what I mean? You had just people from all over that was giving it up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the vibe was crazy during that time. And I remember one time I had went to the new music seminar with Fame, and mind you, I'm not, I'm fresh home, so I ain't been out that long. So a lot of things have changed, and I was never injected into that part of the game like that. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so when I got there, I'm like, yo, all the motherfuckers that I'm seeing and all the shit that I'm hearing and just the vibe, it was a whole thing. And it's like, yo, we walk the first thing we do, so we get out the car, we walk into the Sheraton Hotel. It's a battle going on with Super Nat and Craig G. And as we walking in, somebody had us a little demo tape. We grabbed the tape. We go inside the spot. Soon as we walking down the hallway, Red Alert coming out shaking his head like, yo, y'all just missed it. It's like, yo, what happened? He was like, yo, that battle, yo, that shit went down. It is. We like, oh, word. I'm like, there. We slide, go to another spot. Soon as we coming in, I see, God bless, I see Pac walking down the block. Like, you got to remember, I'm just coming home from the joint. So these niggas I only seen on TV before this.
Right.
So I'm like, yo, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And then I see Puff introducing this new artist. This is all in one night, mind you. Puff is introducing this new artist, Usher Raymond. You know what I'm saying? This is historical shit, basically. You know what I mean? And then we going home, we get in the car. Remember I told you when we first was walking in, somebody had us a tape? It's the fucking Roots. This is all in one night, son. One night. You know what I mean? So it was crazy. So, like from there, I had a bug. Then I was like, oh yeah, I'm amped. I'm really amped now. This is so my element, even though I'd never been in that element up until that time. You know what I mean? But I knew it was my calling. I was like, oh yeah. Because I already love what I only could do it if I love to do it. Sometimes I take a hiatus because I might not be in love with it right now. You know what I'm saying? And I know that, I don't never wanna make the fans feel like I don't appreciate their love and so forth and so on. But I'd rather bring you something that's tight than to bring you something that ain't right. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I like to do what I do from the heart.
You mentioned the demo earlier on. Did that generate any buzz at the time before you decided to record on M.O.P's second album?
Well, no, not really, because the demo wasn't really a demo for me to get into the business. I just was coming home and just doing my little 1-2. You know what I'm saying? And at first it wasn't even like original production. It'd be, niggas had the instrumentals and shit, niggas would be rocking to shit like that, or niggas are just sharpening their sword, basically, So it was one of those type of things. The first song that I did do was called On the Map, and it was produced by Fizzy Woe, by Fame. You know what I'm saying? D.J.Premier was throwing they was having some sort of a performance in Tompkins Park and in Brooklyn. It's some bad style. Shout out to D.J.Premier too. That's my dude. But yeah, he had asked me. He was like, "Yo, son, we're gonna be doing a joint. We got a little slot if you want to come out and perform." So I was like, "Word." So I already did the joint with Fang, and from there I was like, "Fuck it, I see your Fang. Yo, listen, son, I'm gonna go do this joint." I said, "Yo, why don't you just come DJ?" Because Fang, he DJs still now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of his passions or whatever. But he used to do that a lot, back in the day. So he was like, yeah, hell yeah. He was like, yo, let's go. So we went, you know what I'm saying? We performed. There's a couple other people out there performed. Smoother Hustling them performed. And that's when they had Broken Language out. You know what I'm saying? So, it was a lot going on. And so I went up, I performed. And when I performed, because Bill was there too. Bill got so fucking hype. Bill was like, yo, who got the instrumental? He was like, yo, son, go get the instrumental for our shit. They went and got the instrumental from the car, It came and threw that motherfucker on, and they came out and performed and blew that shit the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? And that was really the first time that I seen them perform live. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, that was an experience for me as well. And then from there, we have, we went left, we hit the studio. We went that night, hit the studio, started recording shit. You know what I'm saying? And it just been a run ever since.
Firing Squad, the sophomore album, was that your first appearance on Wax?
Yes.
Can
Yep.
you take me back to what those sessions were like?
I remember that we did them at D&D. It was kind of blurry back then. I was drunk as a motherfucker. But yeah, I know we had did them at D&D. If I'm not mistaken, Preem had recorded it. But we was working out of a couple of places at that time. We was working out of another studio, Ali D's studio. I forget what the name of it is, but yeah. I mean, during those times, it was like studio life. We used to be at INS, we'd be at Chongqing, so it was like we'd be bouncing around. But yeah, I mean, during that time, it was really exciting. I'm one of those type of people though. I prefer to be live than to be in the booth. So that was like a new thing that I had to kind of get used to. You know what I'm saying? Like you're in this enclosed area and you got to spin at the top of your game. You know what I'm saying? Where
Right.
a lot of times if you in public or you out with the audience, that energy, you can bounce off that energy. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I had to, get, sharpened up with. I mean, I was good with doing what I had to do, but that was just a new experience. Because like I said before then, if I'm at my man crib, we in the room, we got the TV on it. Cause like we clowning basically, you know what I'm saying? But we having fun. But now it's
Right.
like, all right, we gotta get this shit, cause we on the clock now. You know what I'm saying? All right, we gotta make sure this shit is tight. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, you take that and you say, okay, well now I could take this opportunity to sharpen my sword up even more and get a little more, refined with how I do what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Right. D.J.Premier produced those two tracks you were on. Back then, was it D.J.Premier, the large guy, or was D.J.Premier just a homie? And what was it like working with such a legend?
You know what's crazy? DJ Premier, first of all, he was like Dr. Dre on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he was the guy that everybody came to, people will gawk over, all of that. But when you sit down with him, he's just a cool motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Premier too. You know what I'm saying? Such a cool dude and humble. Like you you be like, damn son, like niggas be yo, let me tell you, we used to be up at D&D. You used to have motherfuckers that be coming over here from Japan. No bullshit. And they will sit outside all night and wait for them to come out so they can get an autograph. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of.
Right.
And meanwhile, he's just him. He's sitting there eating a turkey burger, talking. We telling stories. That's just what it was. You know what I'm saying? And then when it's time to get to work, he snap on his work cap. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure around this time you toured in support of those first two albums. Can you take me back to a favorite tour memory during these times?
My favorite tour memories might not be the memories that everybody enjoy. No, you know what? I mean, back then, I was a lot more rambunctious, and times were a lot more along that line. You know what I'm saying? So we used to get into a lot of fights. You know what I'm saying? Like we fought, we done fought, and fought. You know what I mean? Um, I ain't gonna lie, it was kind of fun. Kind of fun. You know what I'm saying? I know. I can't. That probably ain't the memory that most motherfuckers want to hear, but I mean, for us, that's what it was because that's where we was at that time. You know what I'm saying? Of course, now I wouldn't want to run out there and be trying to do all of that, but during those times, it's like, and sometimes you might go through a experience, that might at the time might even not even be like, yo, son, this shit is dope. you know, but afterwards you be like, oh shit, son, you see how, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
you got those type of instances, you know what I mean?
You
Yeah.
guys got strong ties to Primo Gangstar Foundation. Can you take me back to maybe a favorite memory of being with Guru out on the road?
Well, to be truthful with you, I never really was on the road with Gangstar during the Gangstar stuff. I wasn't on the road with them. I
Okay.
had I had put together an album um with Relativity. So, you know, I was at that by that time I was like working on my project. Um but we you know, I've been plenty of places with Guru. Guru was one of the coolest dudes that you ever wanted to meet. Just so cool. But he was funny. He had his own way with him. You know what I'm saying? Cool though. You know what I'm saying? Not nothing negative. Like, you know, he just like, you know, he did those son of you know, then like certain stuff he'll make a big issue out of that ain't really a big issue. You'd be like, yo, son, hey, you know what I'm saying? Uh,
Right.
but you know, that was Guru. You know what I'm saying? Um, you know, rest in peace to Guru. He was a real solid dude, man. You know what I'm saying? And he was another dude that was like Preem, you know, like almost like a bigger than life figure, you know what I mean, in his own right. And, you know, but when you sit down and chop it up with him, man, listen, man, you know, it's just like you just did with one of the homies. You know what I mean?
Right. You were talking about that solo album. So after your appearance on Firing Squad, did the bidding war start with Teflon, and what labels maybe were involved at this time?
At that time I believe it was Loud and Relativity. You know, both of them were interested. They want to take a deeper look. We wound up going with Relativity, M.O.P, Teflon, and there was another group that well, they never came out, but they was called Battle, I think, and they were like an R&B group, you know. So we had you know, set up over there, and uh, you know, M.O.P dropped their project, and then I dropped my project over there, which is called My Will. Um, and you know, so you know, I you know ran the gamut with that. After that, we let's see, what did we had after that? Oh, after that, we wound up uh, getting a situation over at Loud.
Okay, let's pause that. Let's get into My Will a little bit. Can you tell me what was it about Relativity that was so appealing to you? Was it a multi-album deal, one album deal?
No, I mean it was a multi album deal, but it was dealing with a number of different um a number of different groups. Like I said, myself, then you had M.O.P, and then you had Battle. So you know that was a deal that was structured by Lay. So I really didn't know the particulars of you know what everybody else's stuff was, but I knew that with my affiliation with M.O.P, that was like a big thing that Relativity took interest in as well. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
You're up next as a solo artist. What's the game plan going into My Will, and where were you at mentally with your debut album?
During that time again, you know, I still had a lot of growing to do. So, you know, I had the young rambunctious thought process. However, I always been a thinker, you know. And I always felt relatively comfortable with being able to express myself. So I said, well, you know what? You know, even though I can go shoot them up, bang, bang, there's plenty of time to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like we got years to do that, but let me get some shit off my chest that are issues that sit in my head sometimes. You know what I mean? Um, you know, so you know, I kind of started out like that. You know, My Will was one of the songs that you know was like, okay, you know, what if something happens to me? What if you know, what if I pass away? Everybody should have a will, you know what I mean? And I'm like, but nobody never did that on the record before. And I felt, uh, you know, the track moving me to express myself like that. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? So that's like one of the joints. You know what I mean? Get Mine. You know what I mean? Was another one. It's like, it's that struggle, and it's still that now, and it's always that. So that's, I think, a common thread that a lot of people will share or be able to share. Whether it's your type of story or my type of story, it's always involving a struggle. You understand what I'm saying? No matter
Right.
what it is, we always got to keep maneuvering. Life throw you different, blows. So you got to learn how to maneuver and duck and weave, and so that's something that all of us share. So yeah, so Get Mine was just like one of those type of things. It's like, yo, look, you know what I mean? I gotta go for mine. You know what I'm saying? By whatever means, I gotta go for it by. You know,
Most of that album was recorded at Chung King Studio and Sony Music Studios. What can you remember about those sessions?
Chung King, I was drunk as a motherfucker. I tell you that. I remember those sessions too. I do know we used to break day a lot. Like we'll be in the studio literally all night, and by the time we leave, and it's morning time, and we'll go to the store and get some, and I remember at one point in time with Chung King, we'll come out and be sharing a sandwich. Like, yo, son, we gonna get this hero. We gonna bust this. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it was. But all of that, again, it just helps to make your bond thicker. You know what I'm saying? Um, and just keep y'all honest with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Right. This album had limited guest appearances. Was that the plans, or did maybe somebody not appear that you wanted to? Did the album come out overall the way Teflon wanted it to?
Yeah, it came out the way I wanted it to. I mean, the recording process, the actual recording process of wrapping up the album and all that, it was done in relatively, you know what I mean? So, no, I wasn't expecting any of appearances except for the appearances that were on. You know what I'm saying? And that was M.O.P. Um, I kind of, I know it's probably common for a lot of people to do features, a lot of features on their albums, but sometimes you gotta establish yourself first. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then once you establish yourself, then all right, the features make sense. Then it's not like you riding on people's coattails, or whatever have you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Overall, were you pleased with the album, and what was your relationship like with Relativity after the album dropped?
Well, Relativity wound up getting acquired by Sony. Um and that's how M.O.P wound up over on Loud. So it wasn't really, I mean, it wasn't really no, a whole lot going on after that. You know what I mean? Yeah, so they kind of dispersed, and we shifted, and by that time, I had started working with Preem on a project. So I wound up landing in a situation over at Def Jam.
Can you talk about that situation and why we never got that project?
Yeah, they were going through a lot of stuff over at Def Jam at the time that we weren't aware of until we got there. And then once we was already buckled in, it's like, oh shit, now we finding out all the back scene stuff. But I think it was a big lawsuit going on. Um, I think it had to do with like Ja Rule and TBT Records. And like pretty much as soon as we got there, they lost that lawsuit. So we didn't know what was going on until they lost it. And then once they lost it, it was like, wow, a lot of changes started being made, internally and so forth. So things got shifted around a bit. And the pendulum during that time of music in itself was kind of switched. Um, you had the South now starting to make an impact or a bigger impact into the game. And you know, a lot of the music started to sway in that direction. And Def Jam, when I got there, Leo Cohen was there. Again, you know, once the lawsuit thing happened, I think that that he left, and then L.A. Reid came. And when L.A. Reid came, he wanted to push what his agenda was. And at the time, he had Jeezy, fresh from the South and so forth. And so, you know, he wanted to push him out there. They already kind of had him slated for the push. And there was another guy, I can't remember his name. He was from DC, who they were saying that, you know, they had on the bill, whatever, to push. But um then they were saying, you know, they wanted to try to line up my situation. And Def Jam, they brought in Jay-Z. And you know, we had talked to him, you know, about putting some stuff together. There was a couple of missteps that happened because we had another project that was being worked on. Um, and there was a couple of things that Jay wanted to do with regard to that project. Um, but it wasn't panning out, basically. So, you know, we our differences kind of, you know, made us part ways on that. Um, and you know, from there, I just, you know, I kind of fell back. You know, I started moving into other stuff. And um, you know, I mean, I still would record from time to time, but you know, I kind of put it, you know, on the back burner a little bit so I can go ahead and deal with whatever the life was throwing at a nigga right there. You know what I mean?
Right. If we can rewind a little bit, in '98, you rejoined M.O.P on their third album, First Family for Life, on the hot track Four Alarm Blaze with a pre Hard Knock Life Jay-Z. Can you take me back to what that session was like?
Um, that session was dope. It was dope. I remember that I was sitting in the crib, and Fame and Bill had called me and said, "Yo, we need you to come down to the studio right now and jump on this joint." So I was like, "All right," you know what I'm saying? I came down, and you know, when I got down there, you know, I just vibed out with the joint. They already had laid first, and so, you know, I was like, all right, you know, I could just come right here and just, you know, bang out. So I did that, and then you know, we started messing around with the hook. We wound up coming up with a hook. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, let's get this done tonight. You know, and then we did the song. Now, if originally it was just us on the song, but during that time we had dropped the video for "Handle Your Business," right? With the one with the tank.
Right.
Chris Robinson, he directed that joint. Yeah, so we did that joint, and from my understanding of it, was Jay had seen that video and had called Lays, and was like, "Yo, man, you know what I'm saying? I would love to, you know, to do some work. You know what I'm saying?" And he was like, "Yo, you know what?" He let him hear that joint, and he was like, "Yo," he said, "Look, it's the name of it is Four Alarm Blaze. There's only three alarms on there. Fourth alarm." So we let him on, you know what I mean? And yeah, man, you know, that was a beautiful time during that time, and that's when everything was really glowing and, you know, just feeling good. You know, people using our element at that time, you know.
No doubt. In 2000, you went to jump on M.O.P's last major release album with Loud Relativity for Warriors. Anti-Up had a life of its own, but the remix took another life of its own. Can you take me back to jumping on that track with Busta and Remy?
Oh yeah, yeah. That was like we really was in high mode then. You know what I'm saying? We had we had finished like almost wrapping up the album, and I remember we was in the studio one day, and just playing Annie Up. Not just that song. We was playing a couple of joints, but just like Annie Up was like one of them joints to me that just really stuck out. I was like, yo, I said, yo, that's the one right there, yo. That one is the one right there. You know what I'm saying? But they had so much heat, it was like, almost like, yeah, maybe. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, so I ain't gonna lie, son. That one right there, that one sticking to my ribs, crazy. I right, you know what I'm saying? But they wound up, you know, running with that song as a single. I remember at one point in time, one of the other songs that they had considered was "Calm Down," and which was a dope song. But I just was like, ain't no damn Annie Yuck. Ain't
Right.
no goddamn Annie Yuck. Shit. Yeah, but yeah, I'm glad that that I was right in my assessment of that song because it proved definitely to be, one of their biggest songs. But other than that, the remix uh, originally it was supposed to be me, Remy, Buster, um, and God bless Prodigy on the joint.
Mm,
Man, yeah, I don't know what happened with the situation with Prodigy, but for some reason he didn't make it onto the joint. You know what I mean?
crazy.
But yeah, me, Remy, Buster jumped on the joint, and we shot the video for it. Yeah, man, and it was magic.
Can you tell me the craziest reaction you've seen from that song as far as the public goes? I talked to Billy Danz. He said he's seen 4 fights before the song was over. What's the craziest things you ever seen with that song?
The same thing, man. The same thing. The slam dance, yeah, just yeah. That's and what's crazy is like it's still now to this day. You got people that's not even into uh hip hop as deeply as we are, but they hear the joint and they even be going crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's what really lets you know that song that got a feeling on it. You know what I'm saying? It's not just somebody words; it got a feeling on it. You know. Yeah.
So, 2006, Bad News Volume 1 with DJ Premier. Can you take me back to that project and how that was received?
Yeah, bad news. It was basically a mixtape that I had put together during the time that me and Preem was working together. Preem is busy a lot, so a lot of times it'd be hard to really tackle him down and be able to get him to just concentrate right here for a little while because he always doing shit. So during the times when I couldn't get him to lock in, I stay busy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just put together some joints. A lot of them was on instrumentals and stuff like that. So it wasn't, like exclusive music so much. It was a couple of songs that was exclusive. But basically it just was me again, keeping your sword sharp. You know what I mean?
That situation you had earlier with Primo that never seen the light of day, would that project ever see the light of day? And were some of those tracks on Bad News?
Um, yeah, first of all, yes, it will see the light of day. It will see the light of day. Um, the there were like maybe 3 tracks that was uh on the Bad News mixtape that we had did during that time. I'm not I'm not sure that those are tracks that we will probably use now, of course, because we already kind of gave them out. Um, but we do have a catalog of stuff actually that we have worked on. So it's bound to be some rumblings in the bag of what that could possibly turn into.
Right.
Yeah.
We got about 10 minutes before we get out of here. For those who have been wondering what Teflon has been up to, can you catch us up on that, as well as your first single in 14 years, No Fake Love on Coal Mine Records?
Yes, sir. Yeah. First of all, no fake love. Yeah, that's the first joint that I dropped in a number of years. But 2021, I'm about to change the game up. You know what I'm saying? I started working on a project called The Crown, and I'm working on it with my producer Jazzy Moto, who produced No Fake Love. Incredible producer, and just the music that we're putting together right now. it's creating a whole new sound. It's creating a whole new sound, but it's a sound that connects with our kindred spirit and our, the way we like to get our music served to us. So, like No Fake Love is a very direct to the point opener for what I see us doing in 2021.
How did you link up with Coal Mine Records?
Well, we basically look just to do like a distribution for the single, and holla shout out to Matt Diamond. We hollered at Matt, and the word on the street was Matt was the dude to deal with. Like since the last time I put out a project, I haven't really had a lot of experience with the media world and so forth. So the game changed a lot for me. So I wanted to make sure that I hooked up with somebody who knew what they was doing, and his name kept coming up. Yeah. Shout out shout out to Coal Mine Records, Diamond 360 Media. That's his distribution company. So Matt Diamond, salute.
Salute. In 2020, going into 2021, how does Teflon feel about the state of hip hop?
Um, you got a lot of fire out there. You got a lot of heat. On the street level, but um, the overall sound, like I'm not really, I like to stick to what I like. And I ain't gonna say nothing to disrespect nobody else. Everybody got a right to express themselves how they want to, but only thing I gotta say is that y'all gotta look out. 2021, you're gonna understand what I'm talking about.
Before we get out here, I got a couple supporter questions. My man Ludo from Paris wants to know: will you re-release My Will re-edited? I'm not sure what that means, but as a re-release of My Will in the plans for Teflon?
There actually have been some talks about that. I mean, we haven't ironed everything out yet, um, but there's a very strong possibility that that might happen. Shout out to my man Ludo too. Ludo, what up, boy? Salute, man. He be repping hard, man. He one of my biggest supporters. He out there in Paris. He got his little movement going too. You know what I mean? So shout out to you, man, and everything, that you got going on. We trying to move forward, man. We trying to definitely, keep real hip hop active and alive. Yes, the post is still there, but it ain't thriving. So we need to do that. We need to change that.
No doubt. Before we get out of here, can you tell the viewers what Teflon's greatest achievement has been throughout the years?
Um, I mean, I've to say in a nutshell, just being here, man, and still having the opportunity, to do what I love, and still get that, that reception, man, from people that warm reception. Like I really appreciate that, especially being gone for so long out of the game. A lot of people don't hold that same regard for people after that amount of time. So I definitely recognize that, man. And I take my hat off to everybody on that note.
For those who want to know, where can we keep up with Teflon social media wise going into the future?
Well, I'm on Instagram. It's Teflon underscore M dot O dot P. Um, and then you got the same thing on Facebook, Teflon underscore M dot O dot P. Uh, I'm also on Twitter at Teflon M.O.P. So that's mainly where I'm circulating at right now. Stay tuned for some more stuff that's going to be coming in the future. And as we go along, we'll keep everybody in the loop.
Thank you so much for joining me on this Christmas edition.
Thank you.
You have been definitely an inspiration since day one, since your album dropped, since we first heard Teflon. I've got so many supporters asking me to reach out for you. My man Idoy78. Hopefully, this has been a great Christmas gift for you. Anything you need, Teflon, I'm here for you. Any new music you want me to blast off, any post, anything, we're here for you. Enjoy your day, sir. Stay safe out here with this COVID. And thanks for everything.
You got it, big brother. I appreciate you, man.
No doubt. No doubt. Salute.
All right. Salute.
Peace.